You're welcome to Ogtv News with me, Mojisola Sholaja. Our top stories. Ogun government to construct interchange on Papalanto Ilaro, Ota Idiroko roads from critical stakeholders tax credit. Ogun launches e-third-party insurance scheme, promises further digitization of government services. President Buhari approves 21 billion naira for the construction of a 14-bed space presidential clinic. China rations petroleum products amidst rising costs, falling supplies. Education is both a tool of social justice as well as a fundamental driver of economic development.
And on business news, eNaira Speed Wallet returns to Google Store 24 hours after disappearance. These and more to come on the business segment of the news. I am Simiat Abaru.
And coming up on sport news, Barcelona appoint ex-player interim manager. This and more sports stories much later on the news. My name is Moses Ojewumi. Stay with us.
The state government has disclosed that the interchange on Papalanto Road, Ilaro, and Ota Idiroko Road will be constructed by some critical stakeholders through tax credit. Speaking during a virtual town hall meeting on the 2022-2024 medium-term expenditure framework and budget 2022 for Edo West Senatorial District, Governor Billionaire also said the current administration is intensifying efforts to ensure the federal government gives needed attention to the Lagos-Abeokuta Road. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiu reports.
Ogun West is one of the 3 central districts in Ogun State. Through its strategic location for businesses of multinational investment, it has considerably contributed to the economy of the state. The virtual town hall meeting of the 2022-2024 medium-term expenditure framework and budget of 2022 for the district provided opportunity for indigenes of the area to contribute their quota to the socio-economic growth of the state. Again, Governor Dapo Abiodun said his administration would not concentrate developmental projects in one section of the state to the detriment of others, and noted that numerous projects had been executed in the senatorial districts.
No doubt, Ogun West remains key to the development of Ogun State, and it has continued to be at the forefront of the socio-economic development of our government. When we assumed office in 2019, the first set of 2 routes that were constructed by this administration were in Ogun West. These roads, the Rail Power and Ikola Osi Ota Road, for more investment and continued socio-economic development in the area, and also provide a bypass.
He also stressed that all efforts have been galvanized to ensure improvement in infrastructure development in the ASICs, particularly at the Papalanto Ilaro and Ota Idiroko roads.
These are initiatives that your administration promoted in line with our commitment to promote and strengthen public-private sector partnership. We will continue to improve our PPP programs to identify necessary funding options for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of major roads in Nigeria State.
The State Commissioner for Budget and Planning, Mr. Olaoluola Binton, and his counterpart in the Finance Ministry, Mr. Dapo Okubadejo, also made contributions.
Engaging the citizens and feeling their pulse to draw up a true people's budget and expenditure framework that will answer to the yearnings of the populace.
The medium-term expenditure framework, which was introduced by this administration to consider medium-term considerations and issues in the governance of the state.
While appreciating the current administration for its administrative doggedness, the Olu of Ilaru and Paramount of Yewaland, Oba Kehinde Olugbenle, and the Olota of Ota, Oba Professor Abdulkabir Obalanlege, as well as other notable sons and daughters of Ogun West, also drew the attention of the state government to some areas that need urgent attention, particularly the Owode Ilaru, Ojo Odon Ilashe, and Bible College Road in Ota, among others. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
Enugu State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has said 13 billion naira is required to fix failed portion of the Lagos-Ota Abeokuta Road in Sango Ado-Ota local government area of the state. He also noted that Sango-Ota was strategic to the state and the nation, adding that the people cannot be left to go through hardship, restating efforts of the state government at making the road motorable.
I engaged the Minister for Works and Housing, particularly on the issue of the Lagos-Ota Abeokuta Road, particularly as our discussions on having the road transferred to us wasn't proceeding like we wanted it to. And clearly, the issue is that of funding. So I told the Honorable Minister, I said, 13 billion you want to raise from Sukuk bonds, and it may take 3, 4, 5, 6 months. We cannot wait for that. So we as a state government, as a responsive state government, will go ahead and take a loan of 13 billion on your behalf. We will take that 13 billion loan on your behalf. We will make that payment available to your contractor. However, we must execute a tripartite agreement between us, yourself, the Ministry of Finance, that will tie the proceeds from that bond back to our financial institution as a refund, back so that can amortize our exposure. That is the ongoing discussion we are having.
Abiodun also urged people of the area to be security cautious now that the dry season is setting in, assuring the people of the senatorial district of adequate security all the time. Meanwhile, it will be the turn of Ogun Central Senatorial District for the town hall meeting tomorrow, Friday, 29th October 2021. The virtual citizens' engagement on the 2022-2024 medium-term expenditure frameworks and the 2022 budget will also begin at 10 in the morning. Meeting ID is 8437276417, while the password is 742289. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has pledged not to renege in efforts at improving the quality of healthcare services at the Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital, Shagamu, especially through collaboration with the private sector and well-meaning individuals. Abiodun, who made this vow while commissioning a well-furnished state-of-the-art eye center donated to the hospital by the Kesinton Adebukola Adebutu Foundation, CAF, in Shagamu, said the government had made giant strides in delivering quality services, which are evident across the health facilities in the state, including the state-owned teaching hospital. Represented by the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, Governor Abiodun described the CAF Eye Center as conducive and equipped with standard facilities that will provide Ogun residents with qualitative ophthalmic services. Governor Abiodun said the realization of the eye center was a consequence of the health sector's innovative financing, which he disclosed is one of the strategies deployed to ensure that common people have accessible and quality eye care services. While appreciating the donor for investing in the teaching hospital for the benefits of Ogun residents, Abiodun appealed to high net worth citizens of the state to emulate the benevolent gesture. In his goodwill message,
we are seeing all around us, which has moved the health sector in leaps and bounds towards the delivery of that quality service. This has also been backed by budgetary allocations.
in his goodwill message, the chairman, Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital Board, Dr. Taiwo Hassan, revealed that the eye units of the institution had fallen behind in terms of international standards, saying the enabling environment for public-private partnerships created by the Dapo Abiodun administration has changed the narrative. Speaking earlier, the donor, Sir Kesintin Adebutu, who was represented by Are Kola Oyefeso, said the investment was born out of the need to provide standard eye care facility in the state for the benefit of mankind, calling on the management of the teaching hospital to make judicious use of the facility. The Ogun State Head of Service, Alhaja Solomon Osun, joined other retiring officers in the state civil and public service in a 2-day training put together by the Bureau of Establishment and Training for retiring officers in the state. Declaring the training open, Alhaja Osun noted that the retirement workshop is another practical demonstration of the Governor of Ogun State's commitment towards the welfare and well-being of all public servants in Ogun State. Tunde Olaniro reports.
An end. The same is true of the state public service, with the statutory retirement being 35 years of service or attainment of the age of 60. The training, according to the Permanent Secretary, Bureau of Establishments and Training, Mrs. Lydia Fajombo, which has as its theme entrepreneurial life after retirement, will help to equip retiring officers with necessary knowledge and opportunities.
The Bureau therefore thought of the need to help staff prepare for retirement by equipping retiring officers with necessary knowledge and information on opportunities that abound in their surroundings and how to become entrepreneurs. In addition, the training is to, among other objectives, help participants overcome the fear of uncertainties, which often overwhelm employees immediately after retirement.
The program was declared open by the head of service, Alhaja Solomon Osun, who said the program will improve the economy of the retirees.
And organizing this special pre-retirement workshop is another practical demonstration of His Excellency's commitment towards the wellness and well-being of all public servants in Ogun State. Even at the retirement at all the times, we appreciate His Excellency. Dear participants, as the focus of this workshop is on the training and entrepreneurial skills acquisition, especially for retiring officers, I consider this pre-retirement workshop as a veritable platform for all of us here today to acquire necessary skills and be empowered to cope with life after retirement.
On behalf of the participants, Tunji Akimbo expressed gratitude to the Governor of Ogun State for the training. There was a goodwill message at the event from the representative of the Permanent Secretary, Bureau of State Pension.
From our experience at the Bureau of State Pension, we do observe what the retirees are facing after retirement. And that's why there is a school of thought that says we should prepare for our retirement even the day that we are given the employment. That we should start preparing for the retirement. Not when we eventually be disengaged from the service.
The event is a 2-day program that is meant to give a strong footing to the retiring officers as they begin a new life after service. Tunde Olaniro, Ogtv News.
Ogun State government has reiterated that collaboration with other critical stakeholders, particularly in the world of ICT, is another significant avenue to create an ecosystem that will improve all strata of its economy. The State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Wahid Odushile, stated this during a press conference held at Ogun Tech Hub along Kobape Road, Abeokuta. Yusuf Gani reports.
The drive towards sustainable development goals and the socio-economic growth and development of the state, particularly in the area of information communication technology, ICT, necessitated Ogun State government through Ogun Tech Hub to collaborate with different stakeholders, especially the Odua Investment Company, to diversify its economy as well as create job opportunities for the teeming youths. While briefing journalists on the recent collaboration between Ogun Tech Hub and other stakeholders, the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, as well as Special Assistant to the Governor on ICT, emphasized that the partnership is in line with the Ishaya mantra of the current administration to create massive industrialization through technological innovations.
It's one of the promises that the government and governor made to the people of Ogun State, that yes, we will leave Ogun State better than we have met it. We met Ogun State, and you can see that within 2 years, this administration under President Abiodun, the governor, has actually taken a giant step forward in taking Ogun State to on a higher pedestal. And this is what we have done in just this aspect of ICT.
My Excellency has always propagated the idea of a PPP, private-public partnership, whereby we partner with the private sector in order to improve ourselves as a state, improve the way in which we work, absorb best practice.
It was emphasized that this is an appropriate cultural means, particularly for the youth, to channel their ICT creativity towards the economy of the state.
Now we are all aware of the importance of technology, but what is critical is how we guide our young people, our teeming young people, because we have a responsibility for this population that is growing, to give them sustainable means of livelihood.
Talented people are sitting at home with nothing to do. And starting an initiative like this will give people opportunities. And technology, if anybody is around it, will know that it doesn't limit you to a particular career.
The Ogun Tech Hub is the brainchild of the current administration, set up to implement information and communications technology drive of the state government. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
And now to education, an emergency meeting at the instance of Ogun State Government, chaired by the State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, has been held with public secondary school principals and other stakeholders in a bid to totally eradicate all forms of assault on teachers. The meeting, which was held at Lishabi Grammar School Hall, Idiaba, Abeokuta, also had in attendance the Commissioner of Police, Special Advisor to the State Governor on Security Matters, TESCOM Chairman, Ogun ANCAP's Chairman, among other top state government officials. Ife Shuluade has the details.
Following recent turn of events involving public secondary school students and their family members violently harassing their tutors in some schools in Ogun State, principals across the state converged with major stakeholders in the education and security sectors to deliberate on ways of improving security of lives and property in all public schools in the state. After listening to principals of Egba Comprehensive High School, Ashiru, and Baptist Girls College, Ijaba, on what prompted the recent incidents in their schools, stakeholders called for a more proactive and collective effort from all and sundry to mitigate the acts of violence in public schools.
Principals should set up a joint committee with their DPOs in their areas and other security agencies, so that at all times they can have their meetings, they can discuss the challenges they are facing.
And we know that with education, we are supposed to have peace and progress. But unfortunately, this trend is coming up.
The more teachers are attacked, the more educational system in Ogun State will be going down. If teachers are not, with that comfort to go to classes, then where are we going?
Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, and Commissioner of Police in the state assured of strategically deploying all necessary security modalities, as well as new and stringent governmental policies to curb the act.
We need to have the hub to take care of this type of students who have gone to the other side. So we need counselors, we need psychologists to help us work on them. But we won't allow a situation whereby they will disrupt the entire school activity.
All divisional police officers should ensure that they provide security to schools within their domain. Create time whereby they can meet with students and let them know the implications of what they are doing. That if they find themselves in the wrong side of the law will take its course.
While severe warnings were issued out to parents, friends, and guardians of students who engage in these violent misconducts, Teachers were also charged to be disciplined while conducting their professional obligations.
Those that are in court already should not be allowed to go free. Let them go to the extent of what the law can give to them, so that other parents will not try it. The moment we start doing that, we will have peace in the school. We will not allow any parent to come to school to disrupt school activities. Whoever does that will actually face the full wrath of the law. And I want to assure you that the governor has asked me to pass this message that this government is 100% behind every teacher or principal that is on the right side of the law.
Professor Warigbabu further disclosed that government special educational intervention funds will soon be released to schools in order to provide some basic amenities for a conducive teaching and learning process to be in place. Ife Shuluade, Ogtv News.
And so to come, President Buhari approves 21 billion naira for the construction of 14-bed space presidential clinic. This and other stories shortly. You're still watching the Ogtv News. Ogun State will continue to make provisions for economic empowerment for youth and women through vocational skill acquisition for self-reliance and socio-economic enhancements. This is part of the keynote address of the Commissioner for Women Affairs in the state, represented by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Women Affairs and Development, Honorable Adijat Oladapo Adileye, at the convocation and matriculation ceremony of year 2020-2021 at the Women Development Training Center, Okelewo, Abeokuta. Ronke Adeyemi reports.
Nigeria's economy is growing at a rate of more than 70% each year, and in order to support the 24 key sectors of the economy, it has been estimated that around 119 million skilled workers have been generated to excel in a particular skills, and students given vocational trainings. In contributing our quota to this, the Ogun State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development had a graduation ceremony of the year 2020-2021 Batch A, as well as a matriculation ceremony of year 2020-2021 Batch B set of entrepreneurs. Dignitaries at the event were optimistic that the program will help in impacting the society positively.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is pertinent to state here that the ministry is pursuing one of the Ishaya agenda of this present administration, which is the empowerment of youth in the state and promotion of social integration, as well as discouragement of gender disparity.
To all of you that are matriculating today, I enjoin you to be more dedicated to your training and abide with the rules and regulations of the training center.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, it has helped us, to impart into the life of our young women and men within the reproductive age and rights, because there are some of them that are marginalized, and when they come into the school, we'll empower them, we'll give them skill.
The directors of the center, in their goodwill messages, felicitate the graduates and the matriculants on their success, and also charge them to put what they've learned at the training center to good use, so as to stand out among their peers. The training center has various departments, which include hairdressing, catering and decoration, fashion and makeover, and gele tying. Gifts were presented to the best graduating students of each department, as well as their tutors. Graduates and matriculants thank the state government, as well as their tutors, for the opportunity to be part of the scheme, and also expressed eagerness to start practicing their crafts.
That this training will help us in becoming productive.
by releasing our dependency on our families. My profound gratitude goes to our teachers, Mr. Ahmed Adeshino, for his gratitude, especially the staff of Women Empowerment Service, for giving us the avenue to be better alive, thereby making us become independent.
The vocational center matriculated 115 students and also graduated 125 students. Aderonke Adeyemi, Ogtv News.
In recognition of her efforts and performing her duties with utmost diligence, the Osun State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Fumilayo Ifuakwe, has been commended with an award of Integrity of Stewardship by the Advocacy for Peace and Values Reorientation. The organization also inducted the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Mrs. Melucia Ogunremi, with the title of Service Ambassador. Ronke Adeyemi again reports.
Award ceremony isn't always about plaques. Rather, it makes people feel that their work is valued. It shows approval and gratitude for each person's good work and make people aware that good deed will be rewarded. This is why the Advocacy for Peace and Values Reorientation presented a certificate on integrity stewardship to the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Mrs. Fumilayo Ifuakwe, the Executive Director of the non-governmental organization, Comrade Abubakar Oyibo, explained why the ministry is deserving of the award, saying assessments were made on ethical and professional leadership, as well as advocated standing together to build the nation.
Your commitment in some key areas, your display of ethical leadership is okay by us. The developmental policy performance you and your team have brought on board as far as women affairs, social development is concerned in Ogun State is very, very okay by us. The work ethics compliance of this ministry is very, very okay from our assessment.
Receiving the award on behalf of the Commissioner, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, Mrs. Melucia Ogunremi, who was also inducted with the title of Service Ambassador, thanked the organization and promised the ministry will continue to work together as a team in empowering youth and vulnerable groups.
You haven't given the award to the wrong person. And on her behalf, I know I can boldly say that she will even work better to see to the comfortability of the less privileged, to make sure as much as possible that they are well taken care of. And
she added that the ministry will use this incentive as a motivation to work harder with the sole aim of improving lives. Aderonke Adeyemi, Ogtv News.
Passion, dedication, and commitment to work, which are the attributes of the retiring Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Information and Strategy, Alhaji Abiodun Awere, saw him to the peak of his career, and this should be emulated by those still in service. Ogun State Head of Service, Alhaji Salimot Osun, stated this during a send-forth party organized for the retiring Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information and Strategy at the Ministry of Education Conference Room, Okimoson, Abeokuta. Matthew Shomi reports.
This send-forth party, in recognition of his passion for the job, hard work, and commitment to duty as an information manager and a civil servant, is a fitting way for Alhaji Abiodun Awere to bow out of service after 3 decades. Ogun State Head of Service, Alhaji Salimot Osun, said Alhaji Awere has set a standard worthy of emulation by all and praised his commitment to work.
Of the state will serve you more than what you have served the state. Amen. Because you retired voluntarily.
Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Wahid Odushile, added that Mr. Awere has given a good account of himself and is now taking a deserved rest.
You have seen the verdict of over 30 years in service.
Ogun State Television Board Chairman, Comrade Tunde Oladojoye, expressed delight to witness the events.
This is somebody that's a motivator of his staff.
Acting General Manager of Ogun State Television, Mr. Tunde Kazim, General Manager of Ogun State Broadcasting Corporation, Mrs. Tony Jogweson, and others gave farewell messages.
He's a workaholic. That's one thing I know about him.
The energy which he puts in his assignments, I'm sure he will put more into his own private business.
Alhaji Abiodun Awe could not hide his joy for the honor and encourage those still in service to show commitment and dedication to their duties.
I've contributed my quota for development of Ogun State, and I'm satisfied with it.
Different gift items were presented by the ministry, Ogtv, OGBC, and others to the retiring permanent secretary. Matthew Showmi, Ogtv News.
The Edo State House of Assembly has requested immediate implementation of the State Animal Grazing Regulation and Cattle Ranch Establishment Law 2020, passed by it and assented to by the State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, barely a month ago. This is to forestall the recurrence of attacks on humans and farmlands, which often happened in the dry season, especially in the Yoruba axis of the state. The Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, stated this at a plenary held at the Assembly Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Kolawole Osho's report is presented in this package.
Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, directed the request to Special Advisor on Security to the State Governor, AIG Olushola Subar, retired, and other concerned government officials for immediate setting of machineries in motion towards liaising with all security formations in the state for immediate implementation of the State Animal Grazing Regulation and Cattle Ranch Establishment Law 2020, passed by it and assented to by the State Governor, Dapo Abiodun. Oluomo stated this while responding to the submission of a member representing Yewa North 1 State Constituency, Honorable Adegoke Adeyanju, who spoke under personal explanation on the need for government and necessary stakeholders to curb the incessant clashes between herders and farmers that often happen during the dry season.
To call on those authorized by the law to implement the law, to consider the peculiarity of Yewa North, where we always have this crisis between the herdsmen and farmer all the time, to be proactive in the activity. I want to particularly call on the SC of security to team up with other security agents to make sure that as soon as possible, the implementation of that law starts in that area.
Also, Speaker Oluomo commended Governor Dapo Abiodun for ensuring that the failed portions of the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway are being rehabilitated through the application of palliatives. He commended the state government for remaining sensitive to the yearnings and aspirations of the people of the state, noting that the state had at different times requested the takeover of the road, which was rejected by the federal government. Oluomo further appealed to the state government to extend its intervention to other parts of the state, including Songwe Ijoko, Agbado Ojodo Abiodun roads. He equally directed the Assembly's Committee on Works and Infrastructure to liaise with the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure on the need to reconstruct the bridge linking Isaleoja Kuto, Ishabo Ijayi in Abeokuta South 2 State Constituency, which had earlier been assessed for reconstruction, as reported by a member representing Abeokuta South 2 State Constituency, Honorable Ademu Iwadi-Yemi. In another development, members of staff of the Ogun State House of Assembly were tasked to dedicate themselves to the ideals of public service through quality service delivery, loyalty, dedication, and utmost commitment to efficiency for the success of the state legislature. Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo gave the charge during a send-forth ceremony organized for retirees in the Assembly.
I have the opportunity to serve in this capacity. It is therefore befitting to acknowledge and reward diligence, hard work, dedication, and commitment by their staff who have served and successfully retired.
In his remarks, the clerk and head of legislative services, Dejade Emo, noted that there was reward for dedication and hard work, applauding the Assembly's leadership for providing a conducive environment for staffers to perform their duties without hindrance. On behalf of other retirees, Mrs. Susanna Olufemi appreciated the Speaker, honorable members, and the entire staff of the Assembly for the honor.
The Ogun State Internal Revenue Service has taken the campaign of e-third-party insurance to motor parks in Abeokuta with an assurance of a new approach to reduction of losses when accidents happen. A delegation comprising officials of IRS and the partnering insurance companies visited motor parks around the capital city of Abeokuta to sensitize vehicle owners on the new policy. Matthew Shomi reports.
Having taken the campaign for the e-third-party motor insurance, an initiative of the Ogun State government through the State Internal Revenue Service around other zones in the state, it became the turn of Ogun Central, with officials of IRS and insurance companies taking the campaign to motor parks in the zone.
From henceforth, you are going to be collecting a particular insurance paper with benefits.
Before now, we know that it has been difficult when there's an accident and you are not getting your claim. But the state government has looked at it as, okay, we don't want our people to be having this problem.
The campaign for the e-third-party motor insurance, which is to guarantee payment of indemnities and claims of vehicle owners when accidents occur, started at Oshiele and Camp Motor Parks in other local governments. The entourage then took the campaign to the Secretariat of Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, Ogun State branch, where a meeting was held with the leadership of the union to intimate them with the new insurance policy. The union leaders praised the initiative, which will help resolving the difficulties often encountered in getting their claims when accidents occur. Ashere Motor Park was the next, where explanations were provided for the operators on the benefits of the new policy.
In time past, those people sitting under the tree and everywhere, they've been sending fake insurances to the people of the state, whereby when accidents occur, where there is accident or something happened, they are not able to go to the insurance company and pay and claim. Why? Because they've sold fake insurance to them and collecting the right premium from them.
On this one, in terms of claim, we are going to pay claim. And we have told them that for motor vehicle, it's 5,000. For commercial, 7,500. Keke Napep, 2,500.
The vehicle owners expressed their happiness with the new policy and promised to perfect their papers.
I believe that concerning what you did today, I believe that our people will respond to what you did today because it's amazing.
Isale Igbeyin, Lafenwa, Ayetoro Road, Pansheke, and Kuto Parks were some of the motor parks also visited. Matthew Shomi, Ogtv News.
President Buhari has approved the construction and equipping of a 14-bed space presidential clinic at a cost of 21 billion naira. The Permanent Secretary, State House, Mr. Umar Tijani, disclosed this to members of the Senate Committee on Federal Character while presenting a 40 billion naira budget proposal for the State House. He explained that the presidential clinic was conceived in 2012 by the previous administration and will be open to people from other African countries for medical treatment. The Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, Nuhu Abok, has been impeached. The member representing Pengana constituency, Yakubu Sanda, was named as the new Speaker. He was removed in the early hours of Thursday by the lawmakers from the ruling All Progressives Congress, who were escorted into the chambers amidst tight security. Some security agents were stationed around the assembly complex. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, says is yet to see or receive a formal extradition request for Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, following his indictment by a U.S. court. Kyari had earlier in the year been accused of being a conspirator in $1 million fraud deal involving Instagram celebrity Ramon Abbas, popularly known as Osh Poppy. Giving an update on the case, IGP Alkali Baba disclosed on Thursday that he had only heard it on social media, stressing that there was no extradition request, as some have reported. All sons and daughters of your land have been admonished to come together as one big family to foster their unity and work for the development of their homestead. Olu of Ilaro and paramount ruler of Yoruba land, Oba Kehinde Olubenle, gave admonition while hosting the Onibata family of Agoishaga in Payi, Ilaro, in his palace. Benga Adekoya was in Ilaro, and his report is presented in this package.
The palace of Olu of Ilaro and paramount ruler of Yoruba land, Oba Kehinde Olubenle, played host to members of Onibata family of Agoishaga, Pai in Ilaro, who are on an appreciation visit to the monarch for deeming it fit to make their son, Senator Solomon Olamileko Adiola, the Aremo of Yewa land. Receiving the family, Oba Kehinde Olugbenle charged all sons and daughters of Yewa land to come home and work for the development of their home state, saying there is no controversy or dispute in making Senator Solomon Olamileko Adiola Yayi the Aremo of Yewa land. The head of Onibata family in Ilaro, Chief Michael Adelani Ogundimu, on behalf of the family, thanked Oba Kehinde Olugbenle for believing in all his subjects, just as he authenticated the route of the Lagos West senator.
I am very grateful and I'm happy that it happened today that my son is given the chieftaincy title of Aremo of Yewa land.
Appreciation dance to Bata Drum, one of the rich cultural inheritance of the Onibata family, added glamour to the visits.
And that leads us to the business segment of the news with Simiat Baru.
You're welcome to the business news. The chairman of Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Engineer Elias Mbam, says the commission would deliver a new federal allocation formula by December this year. Speaking at the North-East Zonal Public Hearing on the review of revenue allocation formula in Gombe, Mbam said the commission was determined to achieve this task and give the nation a new revenue allocation formula that will meet the yearnings and developmental aspirations of Nigerians before the end of the year 2021. This is coming on the heels of different federal allocation demands by the 6 states in the Northeast, while Gombe, Adamawa, Bauchi, and Taraba are demanding 40%, 35%, and 25% for the federal, state, and local government respectively. Borno is requesting for 45%, 40%, and 15% for federal, state, and local government areas, while Yobe, with a slight variation, is asking for 30%, 37%, and 23% for the 3 tiers of government respectively. Gombe Commissioner for Finance, Muhammad Magaji, also demanded an extension of 13% derivation to state with other resources like solid minerals. Gombe Governor Inuwa Yaya asked for a special preference for the North-East in federal revenue allocation, being the epicenter of the insurgency. The e-Naira Speed Wallet application is back on Google Store 24 hours after its disappearance. The application had gone missing on Google after its launch on Monday. The application had met with criticism as users struggled to link their emails and BVNs. Before it went offline, the application had been downloaded by over 100,000 people. The Petroleum Product Marketing Company, a subsidiary of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, has said the annual subsidy on premium motor spirit petrol will rise to 3 trillion naira if the current market realities persist. The marketing director, PPMC, Mr. Isi Yako Abdullahi, said this at a panel session during the 15th OTL Africa Downstream Week 2021 in Lagos. The subsidy, which the NNPC prefers to call value shortfall or under recovery, resurfaced in January this year as the government left the pump price of petrol unchanged at 162 naira to 165 naira per litre, despite the increase in oil prices. The federal government had in March 2020 removed petrol subsidy after reducing the pump price of the product to 125 naira per litre from 145 naira per litre following the crash in oil prices. And lastly, the World Bank has said it disagrees with the Central Bank of Nigeria on how it is going about to achieve its price stabilization objective. The country director for Nigeria, World Bank, Shubham, said this in an interview. He said, although the World Bank aligned with the CBN on the need to achieve price stability as one of the core mandates, it differed on the method and choice of policies in achieving this. It said Nigeria, like many other countries, has gone through a very tough time, especially last year, with the price of oil falling, which had an immediate effect in terms of foreign currency flows into the country, because sales of crude oil are one of the biggest sources of foreign currency inflows into the country. And that's the end of Business Report. Back to Mujisola for other segment of the news.
On the world today, petrol stations in China have begun